Hello, everyone. Jim Biringer here, NHLRumors.com. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment below. We're back again. Rumors are flying around as we're hitting November 1st on Saturday. Happy Halloween, everybody. Should be a great weekend for everybody. NHL season. We're into it. We're getting towards that holiday season, that holiday freeze. But we got to talk about some contracts that were signed. We got to talk about the players getting the money, the young guys getting the money. And let's start in Colorado. Martin Necas, everybody talked about. Some people said he didn't want to play in Colorado. Never bought that for a minute. I thought when the trade went down, as we explained here on NHLRumors.com, I think it would have been an easier deal for Colorado to get done given what Rantanen was looking for, because Rantanen believed he was on Nathan MacKinnon's level, probably wanted $12 million, maybe close to Nate's money. And Nate was definitely taken aback, surprised it didn't get done. But Marty Necas comes back in the deal along with Jack Drury. Everybody forgets that piece. It was a negotiation. Once Kyle Connor got his money at $12 million, you kind of saw all the dominoes start to fall, and you didn't think $11 million was out of the question. Colorado probably wanted $11 million, maybe a little less than that, knowing that Cale Makar needed an extension, but they get it done 8 times $11.5 million. It's a good deal, and considering what Logan Cooley got with the Utah Mammoth at 8 times $10 million, yeah, Marty Necas has been delivering since he's been in Colorado, makes that top line go with Artturi Lehkonen. So it's a nice deal for him, full no move clause the first 7 years. He's got comfortability. He has security, something he may have not got in Carolina had he stayed there. Again, that was a contentious negotiation between those two parties. If everybody remembers, he signed that bridge deal, but it was only a 2-year bridge deal. And again, he really never fit that system like Rantanen. And a lot of the big names out there, like even Nikolai Ehlers right now, not really fitting in that system with Rod Brind'Amour. Maybe it's the system. Maybe it's a time for a change down there in Carolina, because obviously Rantanen didn't fit. Getzel really didn't fit to a T, but more Getzel did fit. But Necas and Rantanen, they want to go. They want a puck possession. They don't want to just dump and chase and grind. They want to make plays with the puck. But Necas fits in perfectly with the Colorado Avalanche, $11.5 million. Now he's done. It's up to Cale Makar. What's his next deal going to be like? Don't forget, Artturi Lehkonen is eligible for an extension. July 1st, they have a couple other players that need extensions as well. It's going to be interesting to see what Cale Makar gets. Again, Elliot Friedman talking about it on 32 Thoughts on Sportsnet, how these negotiations get handled. They go to the player and say, we know you can get X amount of dollars on the free agency. We know you're worth this, but we want to win, and in the best interest of the organization, maybe you take it at this amount of dollars and cap percentage and all that. And people continue to guess what he can get. He can get 20% if he wants. He's the number one defenseman in the league. He's a franchise-changing, elite, generational talent on the back end. Where does he fit in with the Colorado Avalanche, knowing what they have to do? And again, that's why Rantanen didn't stay. That's why they couldn't pay him $12 million, maybe a little bit more than what he was looking for to stay in Colorado, because it was about this year, because they don't have the pieces that they do. Maybe Nichushkin's got to get moved out. Maybe Lehkonen's got to get moved out. Maybe a Ross Colton's got to get moved out. The depth they have in that organization is the reason why Rantanen couldn't stay. It's not about a $500,000 difference. There's more. So when people look at it and they say, "Oh, no, it's just $500,000," it's more than that. It digs deep. So Cale Makar probably get $13 to $15 million. It's a win if he comes in under Kaprizov, because Cale Makar is going to reset the defense market moving forward. Again, talked about it this summer on TSN 690 in Montreal. When I was asked to come on, they asked me, if something Lane Hudson can do before he signed his deal. Could have waited for Makar to reset the market and say, "Hey, I want $11 million," but he didn't. And it's going to come down to players wanting to win or getting money. Cale Makar, franchise-changing, generational talent in Colorado. He's going to stay, and he's going to get whatever he wants. Avs can't afford to lose him. And again, whatever Cale Makar gets, we'll see what Quinn Hughes gets in Vancouver or another destination, i.e. New Jersey or Detroit or another place, or he stays in Vancouver because Vancouver can ill afford to lose him. So, and with McCarr kind of resetting the market for Quinn Hughes, has the Necas deal, the Kyle Connor deal in Winnipeg, the Logan Cooley deal in Utah, because all these free agents are coming off the board now, and mentioned it in the summer. Free agency, the norm is going to be, it's going to be slow, it's going to be boring. Teams are going to keep their own guys because they have the cap space because of the known factor in those players. They don't want the fear of the unknown. What does that do for a guy like Adrian Kempe? Because Kempe's still unsigned with the Kings. Everybody figures he's going to get signed. He wants to stay. They want to keep him. They need an offensive weapon. Anze Kopitar's gone. Drew Doughty's getting up there in age. They can't lose this guy. So with Kyle Connor at $12 million, with Martin Necas at $11.5 million, does he fall in between? The math does make sense there. Is it 11.75 million? Is 11.6? Does he come in under Necas to get it done? The Kings and Kempe are up next because they need to get this done ASAP. David Pagnotta of the fourth period, Elliot Friedman as well. There's some reports out there conflicting. They're close, they're not close. They've put talks on pause at some points along the way, but they're looking to pick that back up according to their reports. But they need to get this locked in. However they structure it, signing bonuses, 8-year deal. Yes, we know Kempe's a little older than Necas, but they have to get this done, and they're going to work towards it. Kempe wants to resolve before the end of the calendar year, so they got some time still. But again, the longer this goes on, the dollar amounts go up for Kempe and the Kings, and they can't ill afford to lose that player. He's just the offensive weapon that they need right now. So it's going to be interesting to see where talks go with that, which brings us to the rest of the free agent class, like Artemi Panarin, Alex Tuch. What's going to happen with those guys? Because if Kempe goes off the board, this free agent class is not really good. It comes a so-so class again, right? Because we know Connor McDavid re-signed. We know Jack Eichel re-signed. Kirill Kaprizov re-signed. Matthias Ekholm signed. We already mentioned Kyle Connor, Marty Necas. The list goes on of players. The RFAs are, extending as well. So where does that leave Panarin and Tuch and Nick Schmaltz in Utah? Does Utah try to get this done? Nick Schmaltz is probably going to get a nice bump, right? But Logan Cooley is going to be the guy, and everybody falls in between. They're going to try to keep him. So if Schmaltz comes off the board, Kempe comes off the board, there's not a lot of guys at the top of the board offensively, which leaves Panarin and Tuch. And the Buffalo Sabres know what the number is for Tuch. Tuch wants to stay his local guy. So they got to figure this one out because, Tage Thompson's getting a nice, healthy chunk of change. And they're going to have to figure out who's a part of this core to rebuild in Buffalo. But that's another name, right? Imagine Tuch and Panarin go to market July 1st. It's going to be a bidding war for some of these guys. And I wouldn't put it past Artemi Panarin to go to July 1st. He's done it multiple times, did it in Columbus. If he doesn't feel the situation is there to rebuild, to win it, and it's just a rebuilding team, he's not going to stay. And the Rangers and the Sabres have some tough decisions coming up because if both players are playing well and guys keep coming off the market, they're going to have to decide what they want to do with those players. And it feels that Panarin's going to go to July 1st. There's just this sense that he hasn't really told the Rangers anything. Again, it's hard to get information out of there. Yeah, they won a couple of games right now, but does he want to be part of this rebuild and retool that's going on in New York? He is their best offensive player. They have other trade chips in New York, like Alexis Lafreniere. His no-move clause doesn't kick in yet, but he's not going to take $1 less than what he's getting now. He may get $11 million. Maybe he gets 10. He's not going to take a discount to stay in New York. There's not a lot of teams that could pay that out there. He would help a lot of teams, especially a rebuilding team in Chicago. You put him with Connor Bedard, that might be something. Again, just throwing it out there. I have not heard anything on that, but it would be interesting to see a reunion there in Chicago. Big market team could use a player like that. So could Panarin get to July 1st? Sergei Bobrovsky, same thing. Though Bob could get done after the season with the Florida Panthers. I think he's going to stay. I think he wants to stay. I think the team wants him to stay, but it's going to come down to term and dollars and how they spread it out. Him being an older goaltender, I don't think that he's going to get a Brad Marchand type deal, but it's going to be a shorter term deal because he's one of the better goaltenders to keep their window open. But again, he's focused on the season. Maybe they can get it done during the Olympic break. but I would be shocked to see this deal done before the trade deadline. Even though he's eligible to sign an extension, he's super focused probably after the season. Same what we saw with the guys like Reinhart and Bennett and Ekblad and Marchand. So going to be interesting there with him. Again, big things coming out. Ottawa Senators, Shane Pinto still needs a deal. Reports been out there that he's been offered an 8-year deal somewhere in the 6 ranges. Bruce Garriock, the Ottawa Sun, said it on TSN the other night during the game. What does he get? I think the Senators probably just did that as out of good faith. He's probably going to get in the 7s. We know what Caulfield and Suzuki are making in Montreal. We know what Tim Stützle is making in Ottawa. We know Brady Tkachuk is going to need a new deal in a couple of years. How long is Brady Tkachuk going to stay there? Most likely he is. Jake Sanderson, and the list goes on of guys that, they have that structure in place. So what does Pinto get? Does he get a Dylan Cousins type number? Does he get a Joel Eriksson-Ek type number? Probably not, because, again, he hasn't taken the deal that's on the table, which is in the 6s. So if he's not taking something in the 6s, he's probably looking for something in the 7s, and he's one of the hottest goal scorers in the league right now. So the Senators have some work to do. Just quick hitters, run the hurry up here. Last 2 minutes of play here on NHLRumors.com. You look at it, go around the league, listen to Jeff Gordon on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. He's loved what Mike Matheson has done for Noah Dobson. That pairing has continued to play well for the Canadians. Knows what Matheson brings. The way he was talking, he didn't mention anything about dollars or contracts or anything like that. But the way he was talking, he wants to keep Matheson and Dobson together because it's really helped Noah Dobson. And again, you go back to those days in Montreal, PK Subban and Andrei Markov. You have those 2 types of players together, it works. And it might be hard to find a guy that can play with Noah Dobson. Mike Matheson has. It's probably going to be a team-friendly deal, maybe a 3-4 year deal at 6. That would be a pretty good deal for the Canadians right now, the way he's been playing. They're trying to lock that one up too, because they're not trading Mike Matheson. It's too important to this team, and the unknown of David Reinbacher moving forward to injury history. We'll see what happens with him there in Montreal. Steven Stamkos down in Music City, USA. Nashville Predators continue to struggle. Barry Trotz tried to redo this whole thing on the fly. Just hasn't worked. Too many same goals, 2 types of the same players. Again, I said it. New York, when they had Chris Drury and Scott Gomez, no goal scorers, 2 playmakers. Now in Nashville, you got 2 goal scorers in Steven Stamkos and Jonathan Marchessault, and they both don't have a facilitator. Marchessault's playing a little bit better. Stamkos is completely falling off the map. Doesn't have Kucherov, doesn't have Point anymore. He may be on the move. Again, these things take time, but it doesn't feel like his heart's in it. No one's told me that. That's just my opinion. But I think conversations are going to have to be made about who they bring in for him, if they want to keep him, or does he look to move? And maybe he pulls to Ryan McDonough and say, hey, the only place I want to really go is Tampa. Does Nashville eat some money there and make that trade happen and just reunite everybody? Because it feels like Tampa's missing that player. Nashville doesn't really need him because they got Marchessault, and does Marchessault probably is the only guy that could fit in Carolina if they don't want to move Stamkos. So again, a lot of things to keep an eye on moving forward. But Jim Biringer here, NHLRumors.com. We got the big signings. Obviously, we forgot to mention Thomas Harley on the D side. Dallas gets that man locked up 8 times 10.587. Let's kind of reset that D market. Again, players getting paid over superstars that's already established. Managers going to players, talking about it's a new world in the National Hockey League. Also with Dallas, don't think Jason Robertson's going anywhere. They kind of want to let this thing play out. But they looked at the trade market in the summer. Nothing there. Again, Jim Dillon's been adamant. He wants to keep the player. The player wants to be there. It's just fitting him into the salary structure with Rantanen at $12 million. Definitely can see him staying. I don't think he's going anywhere. A lot of hype around that in regards to Jason Robertson and the Dallas Stars. But again, Jim Biringer here, NHLRumors.com. Guys, like this video, subscribe to the channel. Take care, and we'll be back again